Hi friends, welcome to the Inspired Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Bobby and I am coming to you from southern New Brunswick, Canada. Today is Sunday, January the 14th, I think. I didn't check the date before I started this, but I think today's the 14th. How are you guys? Welcome to my podcast. This is a podcast mostly about my knitting adventures and crocheting and spinning and all the fun fibery stuff. So if that's your kind of thing, then enjoy. I always put detailed show notes below. There's like a little arrow thingy that you can click and it will expand, and I link you directly to all the pattern makers that I talk about, or all the makers that I talk about, which I have one today. And yeah, all the fun stuff is down there. So yeah, welcome. It's been 2 weeks. I am still trying to keep up with the bi-weekly thing. So yeah, Happy New Year. We are officially 2024. I believe this is the first podcast of 2024, and we are also celebrating my 100th episode of the Inspired Knitting Podcast. Can you believe it, guys? We finally reached 100. So I have decided, I just checked it, that today we've reached 100, so I'm going to do a little giveaway. So in the description box below, I want you to, or in the description box below, in the comments below, I want you to leave a comment, and it can be any comment. I was going to give you a question, but just leave me any comment. Maybe share with me what's your dream knitting, what are you working on. Like, any comment will enter you in. It's not going to be for much. I will draw one winner on the next podcast, which would be in 2 weeks, and I will give you a pattern of your choice. So there's any pattern that you want on Ravelry, I will send it to you as a little giveaway. So it's not much, but it's just a little thank you to all the love and support that you guys constantly give me. So thank you. So yeah, leave your comments in the description box below. So yeah, 100 episodes. Wow. I think Inspired Knitting started, I think I started it like 10 years ago. I've been filming on YouTube longer than that, but I believe I officially started Inspired Knitting like 10 years ago, something like that. So yeah, as you see, I don't get that many episodes out because there are some podcasts out there that are well up into the 200th episode and such, but it is what it is, and I am just so glad to be here and have you all along for the journey, because it's been an amazing one. So yeah, if you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back, and thank you. So today's episode, we have some finished objects, and I have some works in progress that I'm going to share with you, and I have one stash enhancement. Technically there's 2 stash enhancements, but one of them you will see in works in progress because I already caked it up and have started something with it. So there is that. So grab your beverage of choice. Today I am drinking just my basic coffee in my Inspired Knitting mug. Very fitting for today because I didn't even realize that we would be hitting this milestone. So it worked out perfectly. So I got my little sheepy. So cheers, grab your beverage of choice, and we'll get right into it. Coffee. So not much to report on life stuff. It's been a quiet 2 weeks here, settling into the new year, and kind of crunching down on I think I kind of talked about my goals last time. I don't really make resolutions, I have goals, but just trying to crunch down and not cast things on too frequently, and just try to finish some things. So as you can see, my setup is constantly changing, but I did more organizing and I got all my works in progress out, so I am box free, which makes me feel so happy. I do have a new little yarn shelf on my other wall where I had a pegboard. So now all of the yarn is been reorganized and it's in a nice spot, all secure, and my project bags are now sitting on top. So I can no longer ignore my lingering whips. They are there. I went through them, and I had considered frogging because you don't want to keep anything in a bag forever that you just lost interest in. To me, that doesn't make sense. So everything that I have as a work in progress, I want to keep. There was only one thing that I did want to frog, but I got talked out of it, and it is my, I think they're called Contrast Blast socks. It was Stephen West's first sock knit along that was hosted last summer, and they are beautiful socks. I don't know, I just couldn't seem to get in the groove of them. I do have one sock knit, and I have the cuff of the second one started. I don't think I finished it, but it is started for sure. But I was gonna frog it and reuse the yarn because it does use 2 skeins of fingering. So one is mine colors are like a tonal purple, and then my lighter contrast is a lighter like lilac with a little bit of speckling. I was gonna reuse those for maybe a shawl or something, but I was talked out of it by a sock lover in the house. He really likes them, even though they're purple, but he really loves them, and he would like them because they look funky. So who am I to deny him a pair of socks? So I will finish them, so I have those out as well. But everything I think I would like to keep and eventually just bring into the fold and start working on. So I did do that. That was pretty exciting, and that's pretty much it. I lead a quiet life. I always say that. So anyways, let's start off with what I'm wearing. We'll start off with that. Today I am wearing my Katie Goes Loopy. This is the second version. There is a first version. It's the Katie shawl. Well, this is Katie Goes Loopy, and it's just this beautiful asymmetrical shawl. It uses 2 skeins of fingering. So I use the Northern Pearl. I believe this darker color is called Spooky, and then the lighter color was one of her mystery colorways, and I just thought the two of them looked so beautiful together. They just blend so well. So yeah, it's just got some fun squishy garter, and then you do these pretty stitch loop type stitches here. I call them loopy stitches, but they're so beautiful. I just love the shawl. I get a lot of wear out of this one. The colors are so me. I love them. So that's the Katie Goes Loopy. Cozyupknits. This is by Cozyupknits. I can't remember if I said that. They are doing their 7th annual, well, I don't even know if you want to call it their 7th annual. They're doing their shawl, their knit along. So every January they would do a mystery shawl along. So this would have been their 7th year. They've decided not to do it, so you would have cast it on January 1st. However, even though they're not doing a mystery shawl, they're still doing a knit along. So it started January 1st, and you still have time to join in if you want to. It's gonna go for 3 months, I think Jamie said. So you can cast on any cozy up pattern. It doesn't matter if it's a shawl, if it's one of their sweaters. I think even their hats and accessories, like they have a couple like leg warmers and sock patterns. I think that's all included. So head on over to their YouTube channel, Cozyupknits, and you can see all the details there, and I think maybe even over on their Instagram as Cozyupknits. So do check that out. I did not cast anything on. I was going to, because there still are several Cozyupknit patterns that I would love to do. One of them is I think it's called the 9th Avenue wrap. It is just so pretty. It uses their project picture is white, and then they have like all these different color minis, sort of like the rainbow. It's just so pretty. I've wanted to do that one for years, but I'm trying to finish things that I have already started. And I told myself, I have my bag by JoJo, one of my Cozy Up bags. I told myself if I finish the shawl that is in it, then I can cast something on. So we will see. That said shawl is my press flowers shawl, which is pretty much towards the end. So if I can get that done, then I will reward myself with a Cozyupknits cast on. We will see what happens, but that is the plan. So do head on over to Cozyupknits and join in on the fun. I don't know if there's going to be prizes. I'm sure there might be with the ladies. They always are really amazing. So head on over and join the fun. And yeah, it's always so much fun. I've always enjoyed it. So yeah. So that's my shawl. That's what I'm wearing. I'm gonna grab another quick sip of coffee because I don't want my coffee to get cold. And then we'll get on into finished objects. Okay, so one of the things that I am doing this year, or I'm going to try to do, is I have set aside one of my knitting journals. Journaling is not something that I have ever done before. I am not very good at keeping up with stuff like that. However, I have been watching Kay Litton over at Crazy Sock Lady, and she got halfway through last year doing this, and she's going to try it again this year. So what she does is she writes down how many grams of yarn are coming into her stash and how many grams she's using and it's coming back out. So I thought it would be fun. We're at the start of the new year. I thought it would be fun to do the same. So I am writing down what I brought in. So I brought in 2 skeins of yarn so far this year. And so I wrote that down, and then on another page, I am writing down each project that I am finishing. So if I started it last year and I'm finishing it this year, I am still counting those grams for this year because it just got out of my stash. That's the way Kay is doing it as well. And I was like, okay, Kay is also doing grams rather than yards because if you knit a pair of socks, you might not use that whole 100 gram. So it's kind of hard to do the maths and figure out what you have left. So she just does the grams that she's used. So I thought that was a really good idea. And if I do it that way, I will keep up with it. So what I do is I finish a project, I put it on my scale. I have like a kitchen scale, and I just mark down the grams that I've used, and then beside it I've marked down the month. So January, I've marked down that I finished say 5 things, and then I'll mark down my socks and I'll put how many grams I used up in them, and that came out of my stash. So that's what I'm doing. If I keep up with it, I keep up with it. If I don't, it was a nice try, but I would like to see. It would be pretty interesting. So yeah, all that to say, here's my first finished object. This is my Christmas Eve cast on socks. I always do a Christmas Eve cast on with Danny of Little Bobbins. She has a podcast here on YouTube. She's also on Instagram as Little Bobbins. And she always does a sock cast on Christmas Eve. So I casted these ones on. This is knit in my Rose Hill yarns in the Holiday Peppermint colorway. So it came with a 20 gram mini skein, and then it came with 100 gram of this beautiful, beautiful colorway. So I didn't follow no pattern for this. I just cast it on 64 stitches. I did a 2x2 rib for 20 rows. And then I just did like a garter rib. So I knit 2, purl 2, and then I knit the next row. Next row is knit 2, purl 2, knit the next row, and it just creates this really pretty ribbed texture. Slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. I think I did 67 rows for the leg. I wanted these ones to be a little bit higher so I could use more of the yarn, and they turned out quite beautifully. I love them. So that was technically the second pair of socks, because I just finished them the other day, that I finished this year. So there's those ones. And then the first pair that I finished this year, I actually casted on January 1st. So these ones here, I did post a picture of these as a work in progress on my Instagram. I decided to do a New Year's Day cast on just because I had finished my festive socks and I just wanted to cast another pair of socks on. So I thought that would be fun. So you guys have never seen these before. So this was Knit Picks Felici in the Palm Springs colorway. So for these, it's just a plain vanilla sock. I cast it on, again, 64 stitches. I did 2x2 ribbing. I think I did maybe 15 rows, because when I knit with a stripy yarn, I try to do the cuff, like I try to keep up with the stripes. That way when I do the next row, it's a plain knit row, so you don't get those purl bumps in the different color. So I just did that 67 row leg, I believe. I did a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. Pretty standard, and I do have 2 of them. And I'm so proud of myself. I actually pulled out the yarn to make sure that they matched, and they did until I got past the heel gusset here, as you see. And then it changed on me. So I'm not sure why it did that, but as you can tell down here, we've got these 3 stripes of brown, and then up here, we only have that bit of brown. Why? But that's okay. It's okay. My OCD isn't gonna get the best of me as long as I don't have to stare at them like this. But I work so hard for that. But it's all good. You're not gonna notice it, hopefully. So that's them. I really enjoy Knit Picks Felici. It is such a soft base. I really love it. And they have new colors out. And I haven't ordered with Knit Picks for years now, at least 3 years. So I am itching to get more Felici, because I really do love it. I think I only have 2 more socks worth of Felici in my stash, but they're really nice. They make really nice socks. So there's my first official pair of 2024, casted on January 1st. And I think I cast it off like January 10th, something like that. I did not want to put these ones down. They were so much fun. So there's that. And then my next 2 works or finished objects are actually crochet. So my friend Danielle, hi Danielle if you're watching, she reached out to me and she asked if I would help her in a cause. So Danielle, she crochets hats for hats. She's calling it Hats for Hope. So I believe she's out of the Ohio area. I'm not 100% sure on this. Danielle is an old-time friend and a fellow YouTuber. We used to do podcast. We didn't podcast together, but I believe Danielle was part of the same podcast group that I was. It was called Fresh Off the Hook. That is going back like 12 years ago. I used to do videos as part of a crochet group. So much fun. And I believe that's how I met Danielle. She used to do videos as well. Well, we are friends on Facebook, and she had reached out to me and asked me if I would like to join in her cause. So last year she almost crocheted 700 hats all by herself for this this cause. The cause is to crochet or knit hats. There's 1,500 children that are in need. So I was like, that's like a really amazing cause. And I know it's in the States, I'm a Canadian, but it didn't even matter. She reached out to me, she's asking for help because 1,500 hats for one person is a lot. So I have a whole year to do what I can to help her. So I'm gonna see what I can do. I have a lot of acrylic. I am gonna use just acrylic because there are people with wool allergies, and acrylic is just easier to care for, especially for a kid. So I have joined the cause and I am crocheting up some hats. I will knit some as well. So I don't know if I can link it below. The Facebook group that she joined me to is by invite. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to link that below. I'll see what I can do, but what I might do, if it's okay with Danielle, I might link you to her, her Instagram, and then you can reach out to her there if you would like to join in as well. So I have made 2 hats so far. So they are crocheted. I am not following a pattern for this. I am just crocheting it flat. So for this one, this is a worsted weight yarn. I don't even know really, I can't say for sure, but I believe this is a Barocco vintage. So I just cast it on, I think I put a Ravelry page for this. I cast it on like 37 stitches, I believe, and I half double crocheted across, and then every row after you just half double crochet in the back loop, and it gives you this knitted ribbed kind of appearance, which is like really cool. So when you're all finished, I'll see if I can find it here. When you're all finished, you just seam up, and I can't tell where I did it now, but I just mattress stitched it. It looks really clean, and you can't even tell where it is. The only way I can tell, oh, right here, you can see the line right there. So I did fold this up, but yeah, it's pretty simple. I just seamed up the side, and then I used the yarn and cinched up the top there and weaved in my ends. So there's the first one. And then this one here, I had gotten as the yarn as a D-stash, and I believe it's called Flirt. I have never heard of it before, and I didn't bring the ball band along to share with you, but I do have several more skeins of it. They're 50-gram balls. It's acrylic, 100% acrylic. Same hat, same concept. The yarn is more of a DK weight, I would say. So for this hat, I believe I cast it on like maybe 45 stitches. You crochet, half double crochet in the second chain from the hook, so that means you have 42 half double crochets across. And then I just kept crocheting in the flat until I had 16 or 17 inches in height, and then I'm 14.5 inches in width, and then I seamed that up, and that gave me the hat. So yeah, I really like this one. This is a beautiful color. Not a huge fan of the seaming part of it, but it's not too bad. The mattress stitch can be quite relaxing, and I don't know, I'm having fun crocheting. I'm trying to crochet a little bit more, and they work up super quick, and I don't know, I just like this look rather than the basic crochet method of a toque, which that's fine too. I just like this I'm just having fun with these ones so far. So there's the first two that I have started, and I plan to do several more. So if you wish to join into that, do reach out to Danielle. Like I said, I will have something linked in the description box below on how you can reach out to her, because it's a pretty amazing cause. So let's give her all the help that we can. Okay, so that's it for finished objects. I guess we will go into works in progress. So I'm just gonna grab some more coffee here. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to share with you is a sock. Surprise, surprise. So this one here is one of the skeins that is new to me. So I had gotten an email just before the new year from Layne and Lace. She is a local yarn dyer in Sackville, New Brunswick, and she does she has two sock clubs, I believe. One is called the Sock Train, and I think this is what the club was. So every month you get a custom colorway dyed by Megan, and you can knit, of course, socks with it. So this is a monthly thing for a year. So what she did is it is a mystery, and then the following month I believe that she will post a picture of what that previous month's colorway was. I think I didn't join it. I think the previous year that I did start to do it, and then I trailed off. But anywho, just before the new year, I had gotten an email, and Megan had put up all the year's colorways. So there was 12 different colorways, and you had your last dibs, your last chance to grab whatever you wanted. And there was, I think, a 20% discount code or something like that. So I was looking through all the colors, which of course are all so beautiful, and there was this one that just shouted out to me. It was so beautiful, and it was called Blackberry Pie. And when you see this, you will, it is just gorgeous. So here is her tag, Layne and Lace. And I got the 80/20 sock base, which is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 100 grams, 365 yards. And don't mind my messy cake, but that is the colorway. I love my purples, and when I saw this, I just fell in love. It has that little bit of purpley blue, I would call it, and that gold. It is just so pretty. So I could not resist this skein, so I purchased it, of course. So unfortunately, I do not think you can no longer get this, because once January 1st hit, then the colors were no longer available. So I do apologize for that, but I couldn't resist this one. But there is a whole new year of the sock train, so you can still join in. I don't think you could get January's colorway now, I don't think. And I don't remember if you can, like in February, I don't know if you can purchase January's color. I can't remember how all of that goes. But if you go over to Layne and Lace on Instagram, or even check out her website, it will give you much better details than what I am giving you. But it is really fun. I almost want to join it, but I'm trying to knock down my stash, and I'm trying to be a good girl. Not to say that I'm not going to buy yarn, because y'all know I will, but I'm just going to try to be as good as I can. So, of course, I had to cast on a pair of socks with it. So I kind of rewarded myself with this cast on, because I had just finished organizing my stash, and this skein was just like sitting there staring at me. And I figured, since I technically finished 2 pairs of socks, that means I can cast on a new pair, right? Because I gotta have socks going, and I'm trying to avoid the contrast blast ones. So why not cast on a new pair? So this is what I am doing. So I have decided to do the blueberry waffle sock. I should have checked this before I started. I believe the pattern designer is the same one that does the Hermione's Everyday Socks. I used to do those a lot. It's a really simple potato chip knit with a little bit of texture, and so is this one. And I do believe that they are free patterns. I'm not going to tell you what the pattern is just in case it is paid for, but I do believe it is free. So since this was called blueberry pie or blackberry pie, I thought the blueberry waffle sock would be perfect. And because it is so variegated, I think that the texture of the sock is just perfect for this yarn. So I cast it on 64 stitches, did 2x2 rib for 20 rows, and now I've started into the pattern. And I literally knit this one evening. I casted it on, watched a couple movies, and literally knit this in one evening, so in one sitting. It's very addicting. It's very, very beautiful yarn. I love how it's working out. So I am super, super excited about this pair. I am going to do long legs on this one as well, just because I want to use up as much yarn as possible, and they are already being eyed for the taking. So we will see. Maybe I will start the heels soon. That way I can get a pair of shorty socks out of it, even if I have to add in contrast for the heel toe cuff. Maybe I can get 2 pairs out of this beautiful yarn. We'll see what happens. But I will have that the pattern linked below in the description box. But I believe it's called the blueberry waffle socks. It's a pretty popular pattern. I hear about it a lot, just like the Hermione's Everyday Socks. They're very beautiful patterns. I have no idea why I've never done the blueberry ones before. This is the first time, and I am definitely going to be doing them again. I like a rib sock. I find that they stay up a lot better, and like they wear really well, and it's pretty easy knitting. So I see that pattern coming back into my socks a lot. So that is the first works in progress that I have been actively working on. The second one is my sweater. I showed it to you guys, I think the last episode, and I said I was gonna let you guys hold me accountable. That way I can finish it and get it off the needles. And I have not gotten it off the needles yet. However, I have cast it off the body. So just give me 1 second here. I almost pulled my needles out. So this is my Turtle Dove 2 by Espace Tricot. I am knitting this in Barocco Vintage, which is a worsted weight yarn in the Sage colorway. So the Turtle Dove 2 has like this, I believe it has like a turtleneck on it. I'm doing like a mock neck because I don't like anything too high around my neck. When I cast it off the body, I did try this on and it fits perfectly. I chose to size down on the sweater, and I'm so glad that I did. The neck fits me perfectly. It does feel a little bit, not choky, it's not, it's very loose, but it just feels weird because I don't like anything too close, but it'll be fine. It's got this very deep raglan, as you can tell. Oops. So I had taken this to knit night at the Kavik Brewery, and Nancy of Knit Sip Happy, she has knit a turtle dove before, and she was saying how the raglan does run rather deep, so maybe I should try it on because maybe I wouldn't like it so deep. And thank you, Nancy, for that suggestion. I did try it on before I separated for the sleeves, and I decided to end the raglan increases early so they weren't so deep. It's a boxy sweater, which I do love, but I feel that if I had continued going to the increases to my size, it would have been just a little too bulky or too oversized. I'm not quite sure the word I'm looking for there, but I'm just glad that I ended it a bit early. It is a free pattern, but definitely don't think that you have to hold yourself to the pattern, because that's not true. You want a garment that is, especially a garment that's going to fit you the way that you wish it to. So do try them on. What I do, I get the, they call them barber cords. They are wonderful. There's other, there is cording that you can purchase if the official barber cords are too expensive for you. I do have some cording that is the same. So you just slip this onto your knitting needles, and it allows you to put your sleeve stitches or your body stitches on hold. That way you can try the garment on, and they are a lifesaver. I love them. And also, if you're putting a project away for a while, it's kind of better than using scrap yarn. So I have since casted off the body of the sweater, and it fits like a dream. I love it. It is so amazing. I did decide it didn't have a split hem, but I did do a split hem. I got to the bottom here and I separated on 2 different needles. So when I did my sleeve separation, I just put a stitch marker on either side to mark the middle, and then I did a split hem just because I'm always sitting, so it makes the sweater fit a little bit more comfortably. So I did cast the body off, and I have gotten as far as putting the first sleeve on my needles to start doing my sleeve, which shouldn't take too long because we already have it's a long raglan, so the sleeve is already like coming down to almost t-shirt length anyways, so there isn't going to be too much sleeve knitting to do. So sleeve island should not be too bad. I am going to knit it magic loop style. That's how I do knit my sleeves. So I am going to do a full length sleeve, and I might do just a little bit extra like ribbing. I do like that. So yeah, I am really loving it, and I'm pretty excited that soon I shall have a finished sweater. I haven't had one in a while, and I love the turtle dove because it's a basic staple piece, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So hopefully I finish this so I can get some wear out of it before the weather really turns, because today it's actually pretty warm for me to be wearing this shawl. We are in the pluses. It was snowing earlier, but it's not sticking. It was like wet snow, freezing rain. But now the sun is coming back out, and it's like 2 degrees Celsius. It's wonderful. So it's a little warm to be wearing the shawl. So I'm sure there's going to be cold weather. We're almost into February, but still, I would love to get some good wear out of my sweater. Also, I would like to get it done so I can cast on another sweater, because I've been really wanting to. A lot of people in our knit group, especially a certain somebody, has been casting on all the sweaters, and I've been looking around. I'm trying not to do too much dream knitting because, like I said, I want to finish stuff, but there are a couple things that are on my radar, and while going through my yarn, I do have several sweater quantities of yarn. So if I was to knit another garment or two, that's even more grams out of my stash. So that means that I can reward myself mid-year for another sweaters quantity, right? Gotta love my logic. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee and we will continue. So that was Turtle Dove 2, Espace Tricot. It is a free pattern. Espace Tricot has a lot of free patterns, a lot of sweater patterns, shawls, very amazing stuff. And I have worn their stuff before. They have great sizing. Yeah, I just love them, and the fact that they're free, it just blows my mind. Okay, so my last two works in progress are kind of scrappy projects. I thought I would bring them along because I am trying to work on languishing whips, even though these ones are blankets. They're going to be languishing for a while, but they're helping me to use up my yarn scraps as well. So I have worked on two of my different blankets that I have going. So I thought I would just bring them along today and show you what I have done. So the first one I have in my Mortimer's Map project bag. And then I got a cute little enamel pin with a kitty cat and a yarn basket. I am currently obsessed with Harry Potter. I never thought I would say that, but I'm on the second book. I'm almost finished the second book of Harry Potter, and yeah, I can see all the craze about it. It is pretty addicting. So yeah. Anyways, if you've been watching me for a while, I had casted on a Stitch in Time blanket by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. I had casted this on maybe 2 years ago, and what it is, it's a mitered square blanket. So you just do these little squares. So each square you have 3 rows of 3 mitered squares, and then you border them. So I should have probably brought, they're sitting right there, I should have brought you a completed square, but there are several out there, and I've posted a couple of them on my Instagram too that I've made. So I can't remember now how many there are in total. I think there's a total of maybe 20 of these squares all together. So for me, I'm using fingering weight, which I think is what the pattern is written for, but you could do any weight that you want. And I'm just using yarn scraps, and I'm trying to be as scrappy as I can. Some of them are color themed, so if they're kind of, the blues are together, the greens are together, this one is kind of the greens together. There's an Easter one. I had gotten an Easter mini set, so I kind of put those together, reds and pinks together. I'm trying to be scrappy, but this doesn't always work. But here is my latest one. I had casted this on last year, I think, and I've since put these two in. I finished putting this one in, and this is the newest one that I put in. So I haven't done a ton of progress on it, but I have pulled it back out because I am so close on this blanket. I am bordering mine in white. So for the border, I am just using Barocco Ultra Sock, and I really love it. It's so pretty, and it's going to be so nice when it's done. And like I said, I believe the last time I counted my squares, I am over halfway done this blanket. So I decided that I would pull this back out and continue working on it because they are really fun to do. You don't have to put much thought into it, and it's using up scraps. So I got this cute little cabin in the woods. It's a little snowy scene. This is from Pina Fibers, who is on Etsy. That is Isabelle. She is a stitch marker maker and hand yarn dyer in Quebec, and I do have something of hers in Stash Enhancement. So I hope I am saying it right. I think it's Pina Fibers, so I will link it below. but I have that on there currently, and it's just so pretty. So that's my square. I probably will put some work on it today. I'm thinking I used to do 30 minutes of knitting every day. Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady, she coined the 30 minutes of knitting, and she usually does it in the morning while she's having her coffee, and that's normally what I do. So I might actually start doing that again and put this into my 30 minutes of knitting. If I get a square or two on, then like the little mitered square, then that's a bonus. That would be great. So that is back in circulation. I had pulled that out. So I cannot tell you what the yarn was that I just finished working with, but I have like this little scrap left. It doesn't use much at all. I'm gonna say that it uses maybe 2 to 4 grams of yarn per little square, something like that with my gauge. I'm using a 2mm needle. And then in here, I just kind of, like I said, I'm kind of pulling the greens together. So I've got these ones. This one here is really fun. And I can't really tell you who they're by. They're just scraps from previous projects, or maybe they're mini skeins that I had pulled out. I don't think this one is in yet. I have to double check that, but that one's really pretty. So yeah. I just put together 3, 6, 9 little scraps together that I think will be enough for a square, and that's what I do. And then normally I put the border on right away, just because I don't want to get to the end of the project and have all these white borders to put on. Although I do have to set out the squares that I've already done and bordered, because and not all the borders are knit the same, because you have a thicker border on the outside of the blanket, and then your squares in the middle that meet, if it's that thick, then you need to knit half of that on this square and the other half on that square. So you have to know how your blanket squares are going to be placed in how you knit that border. I hope that made sense. So I do have to do that before I officially start knitting this border, because I don't want to end up with the wrong borders. So there's that scrappy project. And then I'm gonna see if I can move my table here without making too much noise. I have another scrappy blanket that I started. I have a ton of scraps, so I wanted to scratch that. I grabbed the wrong project bag. So we're not going to show that one today because I grabbed the wrong one. But I also casted on a northeasterly blanket. I can't remember who that pattern is by now, but I am holding fingering weight double, or I'm just putting in DK weight for a DK weight blanket, and it is so squishy. It is kind of the same concept as the Stitch in Time, except it's got like an arrow shaped effect to it. And I'm just adding in my scraps, so I'm not fading or nothing like that. So I'll just add in a scrap and knit, knit, knit. The pattern has it shown that you could do like, say 10 rows of one color and then switch to the next. And then you get this long column, and then you pick up stitches and you knit the next column, and you just keep going until you have a blanket the size that you wish. And you can knit these columns as short or as long as you want. So for me, I'm just picking a scrap, any size scrap, no matter how big or small. So the one that I just showed you, it's so little, I would just put that in and knit it until it's finished, and then just automatically add the new color in. And I'm not even caring if it's in the middle of a row. I'm just adding it in because it just blends in anyways. It's garter. So I am doing that one as well. I do have a full column done now, so I am about to pick up the stitches to start the second column. So it's pretty fun. So if I can remember, I'll bring it along next time, because I grabbed the wrong bag. They're both in bags like this, which this one here I picked up at the Northern Pearl, it says it's not hoarding if it's yarn. Correct, it's not. It's collection, a very exquisite collection. So since we are all done with the knitting, like we're all done for the knitting part of the podcast, I guess I can show you what's in this bag. It's nothing too exciting. This is not new. I have this in my stash, but this is just some Cascade 220 merino in this beautiful red colorway. I've always wanted a red cardigan. And Sweater Freak recently, Jenny, I believe her name is, she recently came out with a new cardigan. It's just a staple cardigan, basic, nice wide ribbed collar on it, and I think it would look beautiful. So if I finish my turtle dove, I might be casting this one on because I really want a red cardigan. I've always wanted one. Even a store-bought one I would be happy with, but I've never found the right one. I'm kind of particular about my cardigans, but that is a potential. But there's also other sweaters that are also potentials right now that I would like to cast on, so I don't know yet. But I'm trying not to think of them because I'm trying to finish stuff. So yeah. That's all I have to share with you guys today for the knitting content. But if you are so interested for stash enhancement, do stay tuned. So if you're not interested in stash enhancement, then do remember to leave your comments below if you would wish to enter into our 100th episode giveaway for a free pattern of your choice. And I will see you again pretty soon. And thank you for tuning in. But if you would like to see what I picked up, I had picked up the yarn from Layne and Lace. And then I picked up a skein of loops and threads yarn. We had my family and I had did a trip into Moncton, and we went to Michael's. So I had picked up, it's a loops and threads brand, and I think it's called Marled something. So it's like they call it a jumbo. I would call it like a bulky weight yarn. And it's these beautiful shades of dark plum and gray and can't remember now. It's just very beautiful. I was gonna do a hat with it, and I actually did. I casted on a crocheted hat with it, and I just ran out of yarn, and I'm not buying another ball of yarn to finish it. So currently it's just kind of sitting there waiting for me to decide what I wish to do with it. So I'm not sure, but until I decide, it's just gonna sit there. I haven't undid it yet or nothing. I never tied it in either because I knew I was gonna run out. I played Yarn Chicken and I lost, but I did bring that in. So far this year I have less yarn coming in and I have more going out, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, actually I forgot. I did have 2 more finished things to share with you, and I forgot to bring them, and I'm not going to be bothered until next podcast. I finished 2 dishcloths. That is something else that I want to do, is use up more of my cotton stash. So I casted on a knitted dishcloth last night. It's just a basic Grandma's favorite dishcloth. There's lots of free patterns here on the interwebs, and there's also, I believe, a tutorial as well. But I casted on one last night, and I casted one on this morning and finished it, and I can't believe I forgot them. But I will show you next time. So I got a little bit more yarn out of my stash. But this is not yarn. This is progress stitch markers. So this is from Pina Fibers, Isabelle from Quebec. And I have purchased at, like you saw, the log cabin, and I can't remember, I did have stitch markers from her as well. I just can't remember which ones I had purchased, but she had these beautiful snowflakes. I believe she has silver ones too, but I got the gold ones. And I saw that she had these wine glasses and they could not be more perfect because I love me a glass of wine, and unfortunately I don't drink red wine. I don't really like the taste. I'm a white wine drinker, but it didn't matter. I just thought they were like so cute. And I love these ring stitch markers because I put them on my socks. I knit my socks magic loop, so when I go to start the heel, I have a stitch marker on each side, which tells me it divides the instep stitches from the back stitches. So I just love having these cute little stitch markers to put on my sock projects, or any project for that matter. So I could not resist. I had to grab those. So I will link her shop below so you guys can check her out as well. And I did pick up some needle blockers, or I can't remember what they're called, stitch stoppers from her as well, which I of course forgot to bring. They're a little dear, and she has several different styles in her shop. She's got little bears and squirrels, and I know she's got several different ones. She's got some hearts, watermelons, flowers, different kinds of flowers. She's got several posted on her site, so do head on over. I will have the link below and check her out. I really, really love her stuff, and she has amazing, amazing customer service. So do head on over and check out Isabel's shop. So yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, so I guess I will sign off there. I'm not gonna do a book section because reading Harry Potter, I still haven't finished my Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's not that I don't like it, I do. It's just that I have been hooked on Harry Potter. I'm reading it on my Kindle right now. I am reading it through Kindle Unlimited. So it's just, yeah, it's very captivating to me right now. So that is what I am reading. I usually go through a chapter or two a night when I go to bed. And yeah, I hope to finish the book off today. I think I will, because it is at a very interesting part and I want to know what happens. So that's what I'm reading. So yeah, I will sign off for now and stop blabbering. I will hopefully see you guys again in 2 weeks' time. And show notes below. Do leave your comments. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.